I want to introduce you to PSI Family Services. Since 1979, PSI Family Services has been a cornerstone of support for communities in the Washington, D.C. and Maryland area. Founded by two female African-American psychologists, PSI was launched on a vision to provide a more effective and compassionate approach to helping those in need. They are a community-based nonprofit, dedicated to delivering high-quality health and human services to children, adults, seniors, and families. They address critical challenges like addiction and mental health. Their mission is simple but powerful, helping people grow together. To dive deeper into PSI Family Services' inspiring story and the impact technology has had on their mission, I want to turn it over to Acumatica's Sherry Dye, Sean Rubin, who's PSI's Chief Advancement Officer, and David Galula, the CEO of Revive ERP. Sherry, over to you.
Thank you, John. Sean, David, thank you both for being here today.
Thank you.
Great to be here.
Yeah. So Sean, to ground the audience here a little bit, could you tell us a little bit about who PSI serves and how the organization has changed over your time there?
Sure. PSI, Family Services, is a health and human services agency, community-based. Just a little aside, PSI is the Greek letter psi that stands for psychology. We are a public provider of services to very vulnerable populations. For example, children in foster care with medical and therapeutic special needs, adults and seniors with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and individuals with mental health and behavioral health needs. Since 1979, we have, our approaches to treatment have expanded a great deal, but our philosophy has remained absolutely unchanged. We are person-centered, strength-based, and focused on helping people grow.
I love it. That's inspiring. So, yeah, right? So you're helping people grow. You have been growing. But at some point, your system stopped supporting that growth, right?
Yes.
What changed?
What changed, for the most part, was we are reimbursement. We are reimbursed for our services. Our funding changed from a volume-based funding to a highly specific fee-driven reimbursement. We also were working with a legacy system that had needed constant patching. It was expensive to maintain, and we just could not, it could not adapt to our daily operations. We needed clarity. As David recognized as well, not just back office accounting, we needed insight.
Okay, that is, I think, very relatable. So you mentioned insights. David, from your perspective, when you first engaged with PSI, what stood out?
Yeah, so when my retired partner, Debbie, and I began the project with PSI, we did the sort of traditional gather around the conference table and get to know the organization and the space in which they operated. And it became very clear to us right away that it's a very complex environment. I mean, we're talking government funding, healthcare compliance, all while delivering deeply human services. So we needed to then harness the flexibility of Acumatica to bring forth a solution that was going to be a confluence of three things. One, it had to be easy to use. Number two, it had to integrate seamlessly with their claims engine. And number three, really importantly, as PSI grew, we didn't want to have to add a bunch of headcount into the accounting and administration teams.
You want to keep those dollars focused on the mission, not administrative overhead.
The feet on the street, exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Sean, when you and I first met, you described Acumatica to me as, I love this, your financial truth engine. Tell me what that means.
Well, it means that it really tells the truth. And the numbers don't lie. But what it really means day to day is that we could finally reconcile our clinical effort with a financial reality. The other truth is that reimbursements lag up to a year. We were constantly balancing uncertainty. We continue to balance uncertainty, but we are now we can see the true cost of care by program in almost near real time. Acumatica has allowed us to make informed decisions without compromising care.
I love it. I love it. The last thing I'd like to ask here is, the last thing I'd like to ask is, there are a lot of people in the audience here today that serve their own communities. Tell me, what advice would you leave them with?
Well, I wanted to talk about some of the positive numbers.
Okay.
Before we give any advice, foster care in particular is measured by positive discharges. What that means is reunification with biological families, adoption, and of course, independent living. When foster children age out at 18, they're out in the community. They still get support, but they're out there in the community. But that's a positive discharge. In Maryland, we have achieved a 68% positive discharge rate over the past 2 fiscal years. And in DC, we have an 80% positive discharge rate, which is absolutely exceptional in that environment.
Exceptional, yes.
It really is. One of the other outcomes that we measure, we have a supported employment program that spans a couple of different programs, so it hits different people. The employment, there's 65 people served in that program. That's the average rate in the past 2 years, and 22 out of those 65 are employed with jobs that are tailored to their specific needs, meaning maybe they need a one-on-one job coach, or maybe they need, maybe they're in a group situation where 1 job coach to 4 people, whatever they need.
So let me just underscore, 80%, right, positive. And as they were able to achieve these rates, right, they had a system working for them that kept the services, again, out in the streets with the people, right, and not in the back office. Acumatica was able to help with that.
Oh, wow.
The flexibility was amazing.
Yeah. I love it. I love that Acumatica is helping PSI maximize the community benefit. So Sean, back to the question, what advice would you leave the audience today for people who are serving their own communities?
You know, I came to PSI in its 12th year of existence. Now we're in our 46th, 47th year. And I came in as a creative person, not knowing how I was going to serve this community. But I was mentored by one of the 2 founders. And she said something one day that was it just kind of blew me away. She said, and I quote, "When you're classified by your limitations rather than your talents or your strengths, it weakens your sense of self and the value you place on your own life." Technology, that's the end of the quote. Technology should never, ever overshadow mission. It should strengthen it. And whether you're a for-profit or a not-for-profit like we are, even small improvements and tweaks, when they're aligned to the purpose, can make a real difference. And in people's lives, seeing some of the people up there. That's how PSI continues helping people grow together.
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 Well said, well said. Sean and David, thank you so much for sharing PSI's story with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, back to you.
That was awesome. Yeah. Thank you, Sherry. Sean, can you join me up here just for a minute?
Oh, sure.
By the way, she did great. I thought that was really good. Right? PSI Family Services is a great example of a successful community-based organization, clearly having real impact. I love this idea of technology enabling a mission. We're very proud to be part of this inspiring story. Every year, we choose one customer as our Impact Customer of the Year, based on how they work with Acumatica, the impact they're having in their community. This year, I'm very happy to announce that PSI Family Services is the Acumatica Impact Customer of the Year. Good job. That was awesome. Really good. You nailed it.